Hello, sexy human creatures. Welcome to the cave of Samadhi, conscious union with God, becoming one with the divine parent. What else would a person want to do? I had so many technical issues. I just got some new computer stuff. I upped my computer game. Woo! Having issues with my software, but I think we're getting there. Let me check a couple things. Always something, as they say. There we go. It's good to see you tonight. I'm doing a three-part series. I did the first two installments last night, and I believe the night before. Omniscience, Omnipresence, and tonight is Omnipotence. The three omnis. Omniscience, having the understanding that will help you expand your awareness because you know a lot. Omniscient, I know a lot. I know what to do now. So you expand your awareness and all these other really cool, groovy things. And as you begin to see, because of such knowledge, that you are not disconnected from anything in life, anything in nature. That is the nature of it. That is natural. That is the supernatural. God is supernatural. And when we begin to understand that there's nothing that is not myself, you can begin to draw this power. That's why you make friends. You make friends to draw power. Of course, you love them. You enjoy being with them, but you are collecting power. You know, a friend of yours that's a mechanic, if your car goes down, who you gonna call? So now you have conscious power of everyone that you can collect, gather, or befriend. And everybody's in it together as a tribe. And that's when you become omnipotent. There's nothing not at your disposal, nothing that you cannot do. Because one, I practiced that a long time ago, which helped me to expand into the understanding and integration that I am everything and everything is me, into the level of omnipotence. I have all this power around me. Jehovah's Witness will build a church in 3 days because they get other members of the Jehovah's Witness religion to come in from all over the country. They poured that slab, church is finished in 3 days. That's called power. So you can actually see the internet as a manifestation of God or the cosmos, as above, so below. Omniscience. There's nothing you cannot find on Google in the form of knowledge, if it's out there. Omnipresence. The internet reaches all over the world. Omnipotence. We know knowledge to be power. Tonight is center of light. Omnipotence. Can you feel it? Last night was for omnipresence, was can you see it? And for omniscience, can you think it? Can you bring it? Very powerful stuff, isn't it? Let's see who's here. Doing my dancing around as I do when I do my monologue. All right, just checking everything. I just had a goofy day. I am now recording Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul on audiobook. I had a few people listen in because I need some sounding boards. I need to create a bass line, so thank you for those who are listening. Really appreciate it. So I'm now recording Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul on audio. I'm really excited, I'm really happy about it, really satisfied with this new microphone that you see me use when I do the radio show. It sounds amazing. So tonight is Center of Light. Can you feel it? Omnipotence. Can you feel the power? Second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year, 10 years, 100 years. Can you feel it? Can you see it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you be with it? It's already with you, but can we be with it? Simply becomes a question. That which lives in you and I creates worlds and universes. Let me say that again. That which lives in you and I creates worlds and universes and omniverses and things that we don't even understand as of yet, because we're not so spiritually mature on this plane. Many planes of existence. They're everywhere. In fact, it's consciousnesses overlapping consciousnesses, and they intertwine, they intermingle, they dance, they shake hands. Some have some cognitive, some dissonance there, but they're shaking around. They're trying to work it out. It causes vibrations, eruptions, but it all gets burnt into the fire. Tonight is Center of Light Omnipotence. Can you imagine being all-powerful? Guess what? You are already. You won't necessarily become more powerful when you become illumined or ablaze than you are right now. The same power that pushes through everyone lives in you right now, pushing through you right now. The difficulty is the stuff in the way. When you become illumined, you just become clear. You simply just become clear. The same power that lives in you when you are illumined is the same power that lives in you right now. It's the same power that holds everything together in the first place. You take the source, the generator, the creator out of the equation for any said thing, it disappears immediately. It's like what do you call that particular theory in the universe? If you could split an atom and throw one on this side of the universe and this one on the other side of the universe, you change one, the other one automatically changes. What is the name of that theory? Entanglement theory. So likewise, God is not separate. There is no two things. It's God, period, omnipresent. So in that omnipresence, if God, as if there was something to be separate from whatever it is, to say, as if there was two, as soon as the spirit would disappear, so would all matter. And everything that actually matters in the first place. It's impossible. It's impossible. You will always exist. You exist now and you forever have. What do you think you were doing? I would like to get an answer, if you like. What do you think you were doing before you came out of your mother's womb? What do you think you're doing? And I don't mean hanging out inside of a dark cave for 9 months in your mom's stomach. I mean, what were you doing before you were on this earth? What were you doing before you were born? In heaven, if you will. What were you doing? Some people find it tough to admit to themselves that they're jacking around. They like the idea. They play with the idea that I was just a thought in God's head. That's so erroneous. God doesn't think. If God was to think, things happen. Things begin to move. Maybe God thought you, like you said. Maybe he thought you were a thought in God's head. And because when God thinks, things happen. And you happened. But let's see it like this. Whose head were you in? If you were in God's head, God's thought, before you were born on this earth, whose thought and or head were you in? God. So what surrounds God's head and thought? God. So you've been always doing a something. What do you think is going to happen when you die? You think you're going to sit on a park bench and hang out with Jesus and pet lions and lambs at the same time? All right, I like the idea, for sure. Now what? Where does it go from there? Have you ever thought about this? Where does it go from there? After you meet your deity on the park bench, and the lions are laying down with the lambs, and it's a nice breezy day, and you just had a wonderful picnic, and Jesus or Buddha or someone's sitting there, whoever you revere, how long does that session last? Now what? What do you think happens? You're always submersed in the divine ocean of clarity, love, bliss, and infinite power. Infinite power. You already have it. We already have it. We've been using it erroneously. And out of habit, we find ourselves habitually in the same gutter all the time until we get a knock on the head and we get some sense, rather some omniscience. And that knock on the head will make you present, because it hurts. It brings you right smack in the dead of yourself. Now I'm present. Rather, I'm the present. When you understand these two tiers, there will be no more tears. You gain power. You are power. The same level of power you have now, you will have when you expire from this earth plane. Thing is, there is no time. When you leave this earth, you're going to be living in no time. It doesn't mean you really have any more power. It's just that there's not the buffer of time that will buffer your manifestations. That's what's called heaven or hell. You take your thinking tank to the other side and you're not clear, and you start having, oh my gosh, thoughts. Oh my gosh, realities are going to happen to you like this. Vice versa. If it wasn't for the buffer of time, we'd all be in deep shit. Because of the buffer of time, we're able to refine our creations as it comes upon us. For example, I think I see something a little squirrely up here in the road. I'm going to slow down, reassess the situation so I don't hurt anyone or cause an accident or be in an accident. The buffer of time. I can use my discernment, my judgment, and my God-given faculties, the power consciously to say, slow down, something is not correct on the road. And you do, and life is peachy. You get to the other side and you start thinking thoughts out of fear. That same power will reflect to you exactly what you're doing. Some people who live in complete guilt, they create their own self-induced hell. And they will stay there until they forgive themselves. God's forgiveness is a given. That's already over. That's an old story, a very old story. In fact, the story didn't begin with the life of Christ. Jesus came to forgive our sins, so we are forgiven. It did, but that's linear. That's the human life and the unfoldment of humanity to where we are today. God has never been separate from Jesus, nor Jesus from God. So if Jesus came here to fulfill forgiveness, and God is the source of creation and the source of eternal forgiveness, nothing's ever been incorrect. You've been lied to, or you believed a whole bunch of nonsense. Well, Keith, certain spiritual books, okay, there are books. The greatest wellspring of infinite truth does not live in a book. God is more the energy of the book itself, more so than the concepts therein. Therein. I am in my Father's in me, and I am in you. Seek ye the kingdom of God within. You don't need a book. It makes a great roadmap. It also makes a great coaster or wedge under a table. Any book. I understand learning from other people's experience. That's power. But what is more powerful is your authenticity. Being you. Simply being you. Well, how do you be you? You have to stop not being you. You have to open up, man. You have to get up and move. You have to inhale and exhale and breathe your way into this experience that is known as the garden. The garden is not a place. Heaven is not a future event. You will never find God. I said this last night. You will never find God. God is not something to be found. Because if you can't find God right here, right now, you will never see it. Because it's omnipresent. It's here right now. Monks go into cave years after year after year after year after year after year because they are devoted and dedicated to receive knowing, presence, and power. And it's not something they're doing because they want their own power. That's not what that's about. They're looking to join with something consciously that is all-knowing, that is all-present, and is all-powerful. They melt into the fire of the divine, the sacred fire, the sacred heart. They melt. I want to die is what they're saying in these caves. I want to die. And I'm not scared to die. I'm not scared to die, but I want to die in every level of my being so that the Christ, the Buddhic principle, whatever it is your way, can be reborn in me, that I may see. It's already born in all of us. You have to let it bore its presence into your consciousness, and it can only happen by purifying the mind. Fire. You have to want what you want like your next breath. If God is love, then it makes sense to me. We have to do all those things that help us to become love itself to ever grasp what it is. We have to develop the level of love within ourselves to the level God is, that God is, and that God is. To the level God is, to the level is God. It's a shake hands deal. And guess who's the one that's been slacking? Why? Just simply because we're choosing it. Imagine the power that's in your life now. Your gift of sight. Your ability to see, if that's what you have. The ability to smell, the ability to taste, the ability to touch, to hold, to love, to work, to eat, to care, to fight if necessary. This is power. It doesn't get any greater. Look all around you. You have access to the entire planet, and 8 billion people are on it. Granted, you have power. Well, Keith, no, I don't. I'm just kind of taking. Well, you're the one creating this. If you was to leave this earth plane and go to the other side, you wouldn't see this place because it requires you to be here to experience it. So in such a way, you are the creator made in the Father's image and similitude that brings forth not only your past, but your present, and hopefully your beautiful possible future. Power, omnipotent. What does that mean? It means we need to become clear so that when I use my thinking, my na, ya is the power, the fire, the omnipotence. This would be the omniscience. And va would be the omnipresence. So when we become clear, clear of mind, all that you get is what you've been wanting. When we're not clear of mind, we get exactly the opposite. You may be close. You may be very, very close. I hope to live in Dickens that is for you. It's a long journey. But trust me when I tell you, that journey you're walking towards doesn't go anywhere. Because when you get there, you're going to find yourself in that moment here. So the here and the here are connected. It's the same moment. Just like the entanglement theory. Two spaces of the same idea. Two spaces of the same creation. You see, everything all around us is doing its thing. And guess who's doing it? You may say everybody. That's true. But the truth is, no one's doing anything. It's all a play, a divine consciousness, a lila, as they call it, divine sport by the cosmic fire. It's all being birthed by the divine fire. Everybody who does anything at all is motivated by the divine fire. The mind can get in the way, but it's all motivated by the divine fire, because it will always balance itself out. From ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Everything is spirit. Everything is transit. It will be burnt away. Do you want to burn out, or do you want to fade away? Rise up, gather round, rock this place to the ground. Burn it up, let's go for broke. Watch the night go up in smoke. Rock on, rock on. It's good to see you. I had a long day. I've been doing a lot of reading today. Wow. I started, say, 8 o'clock. And I hammered into it till about 5. I'm in the fire. I love it in the fire. It's exhausting, but there is no place I'd rather be. Center of light, the cave. Omnipotence, we're talking about. Power, how to fall into it. What does it look like? What does it feel like, most important? Can you feel the power? If your answer is, it's a little difficult, good. It's good that it's difficult because, one, of course, you have not yet found it. But what I want to offer you is, don't try to feel a something. You're overshooting your target. Don't try to find God. You're overshooting your target. Don't try to see God. You're overshooting your target. All these things. It all requires effort. God is not effort. God is. So we have to be is as well. So can you feel the power? What you're not feeling is probably more correct than any feeling you could conjure up. What you are not feeling is probably more correct than any feeling you are conjuring up to fake yourself and to finding what the feeling of absolute eternal power is. In other words, we're so monkey-minded and noisy. We're trying to use our feeling base the same way. We're trying to hear a feeling somewhere. But it's the quiet that owns the feeling. It's the quiet. I don't feel anything. Good. Stay in I don't feel anything. And fall further into I don't feel anything. You have to get used to the layers of subtlety. You can't expect just to go from gross matter to feel that which is, invisible. You have to get used to the process and the denseness and to the lightness factor of the different vibrations of energy. Power. It's so subtle you have no idea, but it's so powerful. So delicate. It's like a spider web. Did you know spider web is the strongest material in the world? Stops a bullet, just like that. Spider web. And you can walk up to it and tear it. Strange, isn't it? Strange and beautiful. Power. Omnipotence. Jesus had omniscience. I know I can get this water and turn it into wine. I know that. Without a doubt, he knew it from soul to bones. Then he knew, because I'm omnipresent. There's nothing that is not a part of what I am, and nothing that's not. I'm not a part of. Nothing that's not a part of me, and I'm not a part of me. Nothing that it's absolute. I got all tongue-tied. The next level is, I could just simply do this. And he says, go check again. We do this all the time. We're just not really good at it. Yes, even in the misery of anyone's life, same power, same love, same grace given to you. Dad, Mom, I want some trouble. Okay. Don't be home past midnight. And they throw you the keys to the hot rod. You see what I'm saying? As above, so below, on forever it will go. I'm going to be right back. Good to see you. Blessed be you and everything that matters to you. Do you matter to you? You matter to me. Lavender Soul, you got a choice.
Remember that all things are possible You must choose to be accountable, responsible, enough to believe, and open your heart to receive.
Above and look at your life, and you see the life you live. Can you be surprised that it all turned out this way and not the way you planned? It's about what you know and what you understand. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. Follow that inner voice inside. That's the one that's telling you not to run and hide. See what your life could be when you visualize. It's about what you choose. That's your real life. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. Your life is a choice. Time for you to plan out your life, seeing what you do by your own design. It's all up to you to make it what you can. It's of your own free will. What don't you understand? Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Your life is a choice. Choice, life's a choice. It's a choice. Make a choice.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Yanava, always in the fire. Gets a little warm in the fire. Fire's good. It cooks. We eat. Caveman. Primal. It's primal. It is very caveman-like, actually. It's easy. Life. You live life. We're throwing all kind of monkey wrenches and difficulty into the mix, to the gumbo. It's about going back to your original nature, your authenticity, your authentic power. Tonight is Center of Light, the cave. Do you feel it? Omnipotence. What is it? I understand you work out, you get a little stronger. Just like when you work out your spiritual muscles, your awareness, you get a little more spiritually aware, stronger, so forth. I get all of that linear timeline moving into an idea. I get all that. I'm speaking about that which surrounds you. In fact, it gives you life. It allows you to hear my voice. It allows you to hold your phone and look at your camera. Whatever it is you're doing right now, it allows you that freedom. It's called grace. The chair that you're sitting on is called grace. It's not called a chair, it's called grace. In fact, it's not called anything, it's called God. And God doesn't even have a name that we can use that is absolutely correct, nor, or at least we can't even utter it right here in this state of being. Calling God, God is limiting. How about we just call it liberation? That's a better word than God. God's not in his name anyway. So why not call it for what it is? Liberation. There is no hold. There's no pigeon holding happening in the word liberation. God is G-O-D, and it's an idea. This person, this old man that lives up here in the clouds. And that's all it's ever going to be, because that's all I'm going to believe in. But when you believe that everything is magical, everything is possible, unicorns can exist, they do exist. If it exists in the mind of God, they do exist on some plateau plane or reality. So it's real. It's all real. The only thing that is not real is our own incessant monkey and nonsense. That's the only thing that's not real. We will experience such nonsense as if it was real, but it's not real in the form of deserving of the title of being called reality, because there are principalities and other angelic forms. We ourselves ascend into higher forms, light forms, thought forms, angelic beings, avatars. They are truly in reality. So you really don't have any more power than you have right now, this second, this minute, this hour. God's name is not God. It points to the idea of a higher authority. His name is not God. It's called Christ. It's called Buddha. It's called Krishna. It's called Yanava. It's called Paramahansa Yogananda. Ananda Mahima. Ma. Fa. Va. Yanava. Aha. Ah. These are all words of enlightenment. Think about when you call Mama. You're speaking to the higher up. Your parent, your physical divine parent. Papa, you're speaking to your father. Someone tells you a joke and you go, ah. The reason you say ah is because you're saying, enlightenment, I get your joke. Ah, it's called self-realization. Ah, one of the most powerful words in the universe, probably the primordial. Ah. Notice what happens when you break your toe on a piece of furniture, your pinky toe. What do you say? You go, ah! It's primordial. And someone rubs your back, you go, ah. All right? Let's see who's here. Hi, Judy Reed. It's good to see you. Everyone, I'm going to be signing off a little early tonight. I done a lot of reading today. And my new audiobook, Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, which I have no doubt, I've had 2 people vessel this for me, that is going to be a smashing success. I'm putting in some really cool music in the segues. Wow, I love it! It's really, really good. Do you yourself ever? Have you yourself never? Time to be vulnerable. Stand up and declare who you are. You're a spiritual warrior of light. You're a being of light, at least. The question is, are you being the light? Fire. Jesus said, John came to baptize with water. I'm here to baptize you by fire. I'm going to go inside. I'll see you shortly. We see. I want to change the music. I literally don't, and I say this because I want you to understand I have no idea. This is not scripted out. I just fall in and notice the cadence, the dialect, the way things happen in this time with you. When I go into vessel mode, my body posture changes. Sometimes my chair begins to revolve. I did this last night. My chair begins to revolve and I'm almost all the way around. So I just want you to know that when you dwell in this kind of level of the spirit, things begin to happen. Things begin to move. Do you feel it? What is the it? Don't give it a name. Just be with it. Sit, be quiet, and be with it. What do you expect to happen if you're constantly moving around when you know the scripture that says, be still and know that I am God? Or rather, be still and know that I am liberation. But you shouldn't be doing anything. That's the point entirely. Well, it doesn't matter what you were taught. How was that working for you? Are you becoming free? Maybe you are. But to what degree Spirit asks you lovingly, but yet with a little force that it may force you to do something to push through the boundaries that are stopping you from being liberated. Dear one, do you see? Do you understand? Do you feel the power? The work you have to do is to learn how to not work so hard. As mentioned earlier, you are incessantly overshooting your target again and again and again. And you move forward, hoping to win, but it brings you back to where you are again and again. So why not just comfortably sit and be with yourself where you are from the get-go so that you can go forward and reach your destination, which is exactly right here, right now, in this very moment. You see, the whole dance is cyclical. Don't be so cynical. What you face is the opportunity for the pinnacle of all things to be yours. They are yours already, but they're not in your vision capacity, feeling capacity, sensing capacity. And the best sense you will ever make is to invest those sense in yourself. That way your value appreciates and you can bank on that. Stop crap shooting. Stop gambling with your life by expecting something to happen the way you think it should be. We understand the idea of desire. By all means, shoot off those bottle rockets. We're talking about clarity here. Hear what I'm saying? What I'm laying down for you, laying in you to spin you into a new possibility. Do you see that? Do you feel that? Do you smell that? Do you taste that? Do you hear that? Do you warmly invite that? Do you extend that to other people? Be brave in the cave, or you will be a sheeple. So back to the presentation at heart, not at hand. Hands come second. You take the hands from the heart and you deliver. And you blow your breath of life to impregnate whatever it is you desire in the fire so that it can bring you to what you are trying to acquire. You see, all those rhyming words seem silly, but they're not. They are all connected. Helped you to connect, didn't it? There you have it. And you will have it when you be there yourself. Be there yourself. Humanity moves around too much. Everyone is walking too fast, including the vessel, and he knows it. You all move around too fast. You think too much and too fast. You eat too much and too fast. Everything is always too and much, too and much, too much, too much, too much. but I'm just living my life on earth. Shouldn't I be doing just that? Well, absolutely. There are consequences for everything. Pro, con, and all the gray area in the middle. And that gray matter wants to take center position. It is Spirit's mission, ongoingly, this endeavor, forever, unending, unspending, to push you into your spiritual supermarket. Your true sustenance waits there. And in there, you can never eat too much. You can never be a glutton. But often, in your ignorance, you are pressing the wrong button. You are asking for things that you truly don't want. Even so, you will get. Even so, the world is beautiful. And so are you. There is nothing wrong. It's all part of your unfoldment. These things that have been offered to you is about creating shortcut windows, time-jumping timelines, being in your future, if you will, which is now, a little more faster. It's not about necessarily being in a hurry because you're impatient. It's about your divine desire that will plunge you, put you in the space of the Spirit, but you have to be in the cave of spiritual samadhi by yourself and not with anybody. Literally anybody else, but without a body, without anybody. This is the body of Christ, which is nothing yet comprises and encompasses everything, and that everything belongs to you. Doesn't necessarily belong to you. You are it already, but it is your divine birthright that you must turn inward to ever receive the key to the golden chest, to the Ark of the Covenant. That hit me like a rock. You're loved beyond measure.